piss hot. So, you just got to be ready to go. And that's reality. That is the way it is.
Woke up with my piss hot. What a way to start. Sweat on my forehead, racing hard. Woke up with my piss hot. Ready to ignite. Let's raise some hell. Let's own the night.
Daniels, just a rookie. 26 out of 30. 87%. 231 yards. He rushes for 47. He's doing everything. Shredded, baby. C.J. Stroud, 345 yards, brings the Texans back, wins it at the buzzer. Shred 'em, Stroud.
Welcome back to Fantasy Football by Committee, powered by Flurry Sports. It can be tough to win a fantasy league on your own, but at FFBC, we will work together to bring home the hardware. Hosted by Zach Bruner and the rest of the Flurry Sports crew, we will give top-level analysis, answer your questions, and, well, go off on other tangents.
That was after I tried to get ChatGPT to admit that 9/11 was an inside job, but it stood firm. It gave quite a few solid points that it was true.
Welcome to Fantasy Football by Committee. The show starts in 3.
What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. And I guess we should start it by saying what a fucking terrible fantasy football championship week, eh? Just injury after injury, quarterback news after quarterback news. I mean, last week was terrible. We had Jalen Hurts getting hurt. We had Jameis Winston not starting, which hurts the Bengals players because it's not a shootout, or hurts the Browns players. Endless number of things. And then now we have no Anthony Richardson. We have probably no Tua. We have the worst fantasy schedule of all time. We have underperforming players. We got other players who might be sick, may not be sick. Injuries all over. And we got one game ending right now. It's another game that is just not good to watch. Weird. So on top of just injuries and confusion and bad performances and yada, 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 we got another blowout. So that's fantastic. That's good stuff. You know, still better to watch than the NBA on Christmas or something like that. But what we are just doing, I just got done doing an AMA on Reddit. So r/FantasyFootball. If you were not over there, I would definitely go over there. Chances are, if you were into fantasy football, you have been there. But I just was over there. I was answering questions for 90 minutes. And like I wrote over there, hopefully some of you came from there to here. We're just going to continue the party. We're just going to continue to answer questions. If you have any questions that you would like to ask live, fantasy related or not, do what you got to do. Drop them in the chat, and those will take precedence over anything else. However, if we do not have questions in the chat, I will just continue to answer questions on r/FantasyFootball. I'll just bring them up. I'm not going to type them in, but I will bring them up, talk through them one-on-one. If you see your question, if you're from there, definitely shout it out in the chat. I'll shout you out as well. Or if you have questions after this, obviously this is live on YouTube, Twitch and Twitter. Definitely just comment questions afterwards, and I will do my best to answer them. Just a crazy fucking day. Crazy day, crazy weekend, crazy fantasy football championship week. But I want to make sure you get the win. I got to make sure you get the trophy. You hoist the trophy. You beat your league mates. You have bragging rights for the rest of the year. That's what we are trying to do. And that's what I'm here for. So Sean has a question over on Twitter. Okay, so Forder, Tajay, Spears. And again, you don't need to make this decision tonight, which is good. A lot of the questions over there on Reddit's like, hey, this person who plays at 3:30 today or tonight, or situation tomorrow, which sucks. Like, this fantasy schedule is terrible for the championship week. It's like, with the schedule and with the injuries and stuff, it's almost making it feel like we need to have a 16-week fantasy football schedule again. Like just have championships last week. It's seeming like that's the thing. But my answer to you, Sean, if Pollard is indeed ruled out, then I'm going Spears. If Pollard is not ruled out, then I'm going Ford. And you should have all that information at your disposal. So that's what I would do. Victor, what's up? Flacco or Rudolph with Hurts out? Also, do you think Boone or Blackshear to replace Chuba? Had this question a lot over on Reddit. So I think I'm going to have Flacco and Rudolph probably back-to-back my rankings. I still need to update them again tonight, but I like both of them a decent amount. Is Pollard officially ruled out now? It sounds like he is probably out, but he's going to try to play. That's the last I heard. Is he officially out? Let me look, because that is very important information. That'd be great information, actually. Tony Pollard has the flu, not expected to travel, status in doubt, downgraded 2 out. Okay, boom. Bingo. Love that. Thank the Lord. So yes, Spears. That helps. Okay, yeah, ruled out an hour ago. Okay, so Flacco or Rudolph. I think I'm going to go Flacco. I think he can take advantage of that New York secondary a decent amount. I like them both a fair. Like Rudolph's been playing pretty good. I think he's under valued by a lot of people. I just think Flacco with the weapons, with everything else. I'm going to go Flacco over Rudolph. And then Boone and Blackshear, I think they're both going to be given the opportunity to take the opportunity and run with it. Pun intended, I suppose. But I prefer Blackshear. If Boone comes in and just has a 20-yard run, he's just going to start seeing more carries. So it kind of sucks. But I would go Blackshear. They cut Boone for a reason. He's back. I think he's a pretty good player, but Blackshear over Boone. Hopefully there's another option you have that is a little more trustworthy, but is what it is. Null Dog, what's up, brother? Flacco or Purdy? Juwan or Spears? I would still go Purdy against the Lions' beat-up defense. My only worry with Flacco, so like I said, I think Flacco can take advantage of the Giants. Truthfully, the only worry with Flacco is that Jonathan Taylor runs for 250 again, and they can just milk the clock, run the football. They're not going to have to worry about passing the ball. That's the only issue there. So because of that, I would lean Purdy if you have him over Flacco. And then Juwan or Spears is very tough. I think I would go Spears. Like, I'm just thinking, like, Juwan Jennings for sure could have more yards than Spears. I think Spears is he has pretty strong touchdown upside in this game. And obviously, to replace a touchdown, you're talking about 60 yards. So I would go Spears over Juwan. Chig or Hawkinson, had this question a lot on Reddit as well. I'm going Chig. Weirdly enough, I've seen Mason Rudolph throw the ball to Chigakonkwo more than I've seen Sam Darnold throw the ball to TJ Hawkinson. And obviously in significantly fewer games for, I guess maybe not that many fewer, but definitely fewer for Chig and Rudolph. So I'm going to go him. Hawkinson should be able to take advantage of the Packers, especially if the Packers want to keep putting smaller or slower linebackers on a tight end. But man, the workload wise, target wise, I'm just going to keep Ryan Chigakonkwo. Rudolph is very clearly comfortable and wants to use him quite a bit. And he might even have more touchdown upside than Hawkinson as well. I mean, Hawkinson hasn't caught one yet, right? So, yup. Bo or Love, asks Blockbuster. I would go Bo Nix, 4-point passing touchdown. I would go Bo Nix. He hasn't been playing super well lately, obviously. Jordan Love, he stunk against the Vikings first half. And then once the defense, eased up a little bit, he was better against the Vikings the next half. I understand Toyota-thon. I understand all of that. I am still going to go Bo Nix against that Bengals defense stinks. They are not good. So I would go him still. Hopefully he uses his legs a little bit as well. Null Dog, thinking about going Spears 2, favored right on the matchup. He's for sure safer, yeah. Like, no doubt that he has guaranteed touches, right? Much easier to hand the ball off to someone than throw it to him. How does Tua being out affect Miami's defense? It certainly affects it just because they could be put into worse situations, obviously. More than anything, what I'm looking for there, I think DTR is going to play, but that's the biggest news, right? If DTR plays, you start anybody against him. That dude is fucking bad at football. So you just play any defense against DTR and the Browns. If Winston's in there, I'm willing to get off of Miami's defense if Winston's in there. But if it's a DTR, you have to play the defense against him. All that dude does, he's a mobile quarterback who refuses to run, and he just throws interceptions and bad passes. He's terrible. He is so bad. And you are welcome, Victor, Blockbuster, and everyone else. Definitely keep asking questions. But since Null Dog's got another one, again, definitely keep asking questions. When there aren't questions, I'm going to flip back and forth to the subreddit AMA because there's a bunch more questions over there, and they may help you guys out as well. And it could spark more questions for you as well. So definitely going to just keep sitting here answering questions for, I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour maybe. We'll see how much fun we're having. If Winston plays, you would go Raiders defense over or Raiders against New Orleans. Yes, I would. I don't love the Raiders defense, obviously, especially without Max Crosby. But, I mean, Winston will for sure light up the Miami defense. The only question is, does he throw a pick six? Does he throw an interception? Probably gives them at least one, but I'm not sure if that's enough if he puts up 35, 40 points against them. Okay, let's see if this works. Let me know if you guys can see that well. Let's do this. A little bigger here. Apologies for my voice. Let me get that off of there. Okay. Not worried about the weather in Cincy with Nix. Not really, just because, I mean, Bo Nix isn't airing it out. Bo Nix is a check down queen like Drew Brees. So I think he's going to run the ball a little bit. I think he's going to throw it underneath and let his receivers do the work. So no, not really. And I mean, you know, I think it affects him. I think it limits him a little bit, but overall, not too much. Blockbuster. What's it look like if I bring it up here? Okay, same thing. Just covers my face. With Tua out, is it crazy to swap A-Chain for Robinson Jr.? Those games without Tua make you nervous. Fully get it. The Tua news for A-Chain owners, maybe more than anything, maybe Tyreek owners, I don't know, is just such a kick in the nuts. I am an A-Chain owner, definitely needing him to go off after starting Nico Collins and Kaimi Fairbairn. So I'm with you. I'm still going to go A-Chain. I think he can catch enough passes. Obviously, talking about Myles Garrett and company there, so there's going to be a decent amount of pass rush, especially against a bad Miami front. So I expect quite a bit of checkdowns. I expect some of those just extended handoffs, if you will. We've seen Huntley throw it to A-Chain. He's had a couple, or at least one game where he threw to him a decent amount. That's what I'm expecting. I'm not necessarily expecting a big running attempt or rushing yard game out of A-Chain, but I don't think it's crazy to say he has 60 receiving yards with 6 catches or something. And he still is going to catch a touchdown or score a touchdown if they get in close. Knicks over Love. What's the point difference if you had to guess? So they're playing indoors in Minnesota. Love will get them with at least one. I don't think it's drastic. It's not like I hate Love this week. So I would say maybe a 3 to 5 point difference between the two. I don't think it's crazy. I think Knicks is going to have a decent amount more yards. I think Love could find the end zone a little bit more. So that's where that is. Okay, let's see what questions we got here. Is there any answered ones that I should go back to? Probably. Whatever. We'll do unanswered first, at least. And I'm flipping back and forth to the chat. So if I don't catch your question right away, patience, please. But I do see Nick's question, and I do see Blockbuster. You also started Kaimi, and boy, was that disappointing on Christmas. He has Achane and Connor. Tough decision to make. Who do you start? I'm not touching James Conner. James Conner goes off in the first half, is walking up and down the sideline with a supposed knee injury in the second half in a must-win game, and now he decides he's going to play in a game with absolutely no stakes for his team. I'm not trusting Connor. If he has one little boo-boo, he's just going to sit out, and why would they force it? They just extended him. So, boy, I hate James Conner. It would be very James Conner to go off this week. I understand that, but like with the most stakes ever, he just walked up and down the sideline last week. Made no sense. And then now they're out of the playoffs and now he wants to play. Whatever. Who do I like for a kicker next week? Do you have a championship game next week? If so, that blows. Let me look though. See if there's anybody outside just the obvious because of a matchup. Let's see. Okay. So whoever starts for Atlanta, can't remember who the Atlanta kicker is now with Koo out. Let me check. But he's going to be home against Carolina. So it's indoors and it's against a bad defense. Riley Patterson. I think Riley Patterson's decent. Don't hate him at all. I think Dallas, Washington will be a competitive game. So if somehow he can grab Brandon Aubrey or something, I think he's going to be a very strong play. But in terms of not the high owned guys, Matt Gay for Indy. He plays at home, so indoors against Jacksonville. That's probably a good one. And I expect Pittsburgh to bounce back pretty well against a Cincinnati team who I expect will have nothing to play for next week. So after, not a great fantasy day, I suppose, for Boswell. I think Pittsburgh overall now, they get extra days off. They just went through this absolute gauntlet. They have things they want to change. After a little bit of time off, I think Mike Tomlin's messages, stuff like that, are really going to set in. I expect a decent game for Boswell. You have Chase McLaughlin. Obviously love him this week. And he plays home against New Orleans next week. I mean, I like that. Yeah, I like him. I like him as well. He's certainly in the conversation with everybody I just named. He will be, in terms of my rankings starting next week, I imagine he will be borderline top 5, top 7. So, gotta like it. Okay. Question here. Achane, Tajay Spears, or the Raiders backfield have PPR. So Tajay without Pollard or Achane is the question, essentially. And I would still go Achane, but boy, that is closer than I wish it was. I would still go Achane. I'm not a huge fan of the Browns defense, especially right now. He should be able to have success against them. Huntley should be able to have success as well. And I don't anticipate the Browns, getting the ball and just hogging it. I don't think they're going to go on those 8-minute drives. So I think Miami's going to have quite a few possessions in this game, especially because God knows they're going to have some 3-and-outs as well. So I think a lot of possessions for both teams in this game. And I think Achane will be able to take advantage of that. This one here. Pick one, DST, Colts or Eagles? Colts. Eagles have a few people out, and Colts play the Giants. Love that. Do I think Aching will be as bad as the first time when Tua was out? No, I do not. I don't think he's going to be great. I would assume sort of a hybrid, but I mean, I want to look up the specific game. He had a decent game, I feel like, with Huntley that is just burnt into my mind. I feel like he caught the ball a fair amount. So you guys can't see it. I apologize. Doing research here. Huntley had 3 starts. I feel like maybe it was Tennessee. Let's see. In that game, no, it was not. That was not a great one. 10 carries, 15 yards, 3 receptions, 14 yards. Okay, not that one. How about against Indy? Was it this game? If it was, what a disgusting game. I mean, he ran it well. He had 15 carries, 77 yards, 2 catches, 8 yards. So he ran it well in that game. Just didn't find the end zone. Obviously, find the end zone. Everything's saved. That's 12.7 just from rushing and a touchdown at that point. Is this the final game I'm thinking of? No. Okay. So Cheeto's first than I thought. I still think he's going to be better. How about that? How's that for an answer? Jesus. He was worse than I remembered. Huntley shouldn't be as bad as he was. That makes no sense. With more time in the offense, hopefully he will be better, and he should. He should be better. Thielen or McMillan aiming for upside. I like them both in the same game, obviously. I think I'd go McMillan, though. I would assume the Panthers go into the game saying if we need to stop one receiver, if we need to cheat towards one receiver, obviously that would be Mike Evans. Mike Evans is going to be trying to take the top off the defense. He's going to be drawing a lot of tension on the outside. And I think McMillan can do quite a bit of damage underneath. So I like Thielen a fair amount as well. There's just a lot of weapons there. And I don't know why they wouldn't try to get Coker and people like that more involved. But I like Millen a fair amount, actually. Bryce Young, Rudolph, or Mac Jones. I'm still going to go Bryce Young. Rudolph is very close, though. They may even be back-to-back in the rankings. You guys can see this, right? Okay, thank God. Who are the 5 worst players I would start over Tyreek, given the current circumstances? Who are the 5 worst? What a weird way to ask that question, but I love it. Let me look at my rankings, I guess. And it won't just follow my rankings. Like, who could I justify? That's how I'm answering this question. Who could I justifiably start over Tyreek Hill? I could justifiably start Josh Downs. Jaden Reed. That's 2. Garrett Wilson. I don't want to, but I could justify it, I suppose. Calvin Ridley, revenge game. I'd love to talk myself into a revenge game. And then I'm willing to start Cooper Kupp over him, but I'm not going to go there. That's too good. We got to get worse. Oh, Michael Pittman. I could talk myself into Michael Pittman over Tyreek Hill with Flacco at the quarterback. For sure. Need to replace Chuba being out, full PPR, Mike Boone or Raheem Mostert, leaning Mostert with Tua out. Boy, disgusting. Yeah, I guess I would go Mostert. Like, one of these two have guaranteed touches, and I suppose it's Mostert. I wonder if I should be commenting live as well on these. Let me do this. I'm gonna comment on them. We're gonna leave a link to the YouTube live stream. Whoops. Okay. I'll just start with this one. Oh no, I'm not logged in. 1 second. Everything's fine. I don't know what my login is, to be fair. This seems right. Okay, baby, we're back. We're back. We got to find it again, but we're back. Okay. I would go McMillan. Should see plenty of targets with the attention. And then we'll go answering live on YouTube now. Look at that. That's just promotion, people. Look at that. I am continuing to check back at the live chat as well. So if you're just sitting here hanging out, I do appreciate you. And if you have a question, certainly ask it. I'm not gonna rate all those, but that was a fun one. I like that. I'll upvote that. I would go Mostert. He's a bit safer and just as high of upside because Mostert can pop a big play. Great. Okay. Full PPR, not sure who to put in the flex, McMillan or Jennings. His team is Bryce, Jefferson, St. Brown, Chase Brown, Kyron Laporta. Good team. Opponent's team, no one really relevant. Need a player with a high ceiling because a lot of my opponents can boom this weekend. Either way, I think I would go Jennings. I would go Jennings. He definitely has a higher floor, but he also has a high ceiling due to the banged up Lions D. I can't tell if this is bad to be commenting these live as well. If someone watching, let me know if that's like bad content, me typing it out as well. Sean, London or McMillan? I would go London. Like, if he didn't drop one of Penix's balls with so much green ahead of him, like there's a chance he scores for sure, a big play. Penix is ripping it. I love him quite a bit. I'm not afraid of Marshawn Lattimore. I've had a lot of questions on Drake London this week where people are just sort of petrified of Marshawn Lattimore. He's not that guy anymore. So I'm not too afraid of that. And I think Penix is a good quarterback. I think he's willing to rip it a little bit more, throw downfield. I think that's good for London. And I just still think this game has sneaky shootout potential. Like I can see both of these rookie quarterbacks dueling in this game. Could be a very fun one. So yeah, I think McMillan's solid as well, but I would go London still. Standard scoring flex play Abdullah, Pittman, Boone, or Blackshear. Pittman. Pittman with Flacco. For sure. RB2 not ideal. Blackshear, Boone, Tyler Johnson. That's not an RB2. Is there a running back with last name Tyler? So it's like, or no, he's talking Ty Johnson, right? Ty Johnson. Mims now in New Orleans and McLaughlin. Yeah. Yeah. Not ideal. However, I would go Blackshear. I think he gets the first crack at playing well and taking the carries. Choose one player for PPR: Calvin Ridley, Jalen McMillan, or Marvin Harrison Jr. This is a good measuring stick question, I feel like. So a lot of questions about probably all of these guys in this wide receiver 3-ish, 2-ish, 3-ish range. I think I'd rank him exactly like this. I like Calvin Ridley, good matchup and playing against his former team. Jalen McMillan, I think, is a solid play. And then Marvin Harrison Jr., talent is there. Quarterback relationship has not been playing well. I'm not going to assume just because it's the fantasy championship, Marvin Harrison Jr. shows up. So I would rank it just like that. Oh my God, I can't type. Playing Ridley. Okay. Let's just cruise through some of these questions without typing them out because I feel like it kind of kills the momentum here. Stafford, Rodgers, Bryce Young, 4-point passing touchdown. I would go Stafford against Arizona. Must-win game. Arizona's secondary is not that good. Stafford is due for one of those games, I feel like. And then Chig or Hawkinson. A lot of questions between those two, and every time I think it's Chig. Chig has the higher workload, target share, and just as high of touchdown upside. So, yeah, unfortunately, I thought Hawkinson was going to end up being a league winner this year, and he's just not getting the ball. Okay, so Goff or Kyler, I would go, I think I would go Kyler still. Let me look at my rankings quick. They're both there. They're both top 10, obviously. I have Goff one ahead, so I have Goff at 8, Kyler at 9. So I guess I would go Goff. Ridley, Harrison Jr., or Reed, I would go Ridley. And then McLaughlin or Aubrey, I would go McLaughlin. Rankings, by the way, if you guys are on YouTube, my rankings are posted in the description. If you are somewhere else, you can just go to flurrysports.org. You can find my rankings there. What about Javonte or Ertz needing a CD replacement? I guess Ertz. I hate them both. I guess Ertz. Again, that game could turn into a shootout. I suppose Cincy and Denver could be a shootout. I'm just not betting on it. I'm done with the Broncos running backs. Can't do it. No time for it. Knicks, Kyler, or Rudolph? Kyler. Got a few full PPR, H8 or McLaurin. I have this exact scenario, and I hate it. I cannot stand it. I currently have H8 in. I'm doing everything I can to talk myself into McLaurin. Maybe man. The matchup for McLaurin's so good. I keep talking about how it can be a shootout. So yes, I'm going to have to make this switch as well. Answering for you and for me, McLaurin. Jonnu or Laporta, Jonnu, Hawkinson or Chig. Scoring settings don't matter there for me. Same thing. Got a gross one for me. I feel like that's all questions this week given the circumstances. Lost Chuba and Pollard. Lost both. Fuck, man. Pick 2 full PPR. Blackshear, Craig Reynolds, Ray Davis, Mostert, Quorum, Estimate. We need to respond. This guy needs it. Guy or gal. Okay. Boy. Yikes. I would go. First gut call says Blackshear and Ray Davis. Mostert has a chance. Quorum could fall into the end zone, I suppose, but I'm ruling him out. I'm ruling Estimate out. I think you got to rule Craig Reynolds out. So does Mostert sneak in or is it the other two? I would go Blackshear for sure, I think. And Davis. Mostert is my third for what it's worth. Okay. That's a quick one. White or Spears? Spears without Pollard now. Faux show. Okay, so we've been doing this for 35 minutes. We will do a little bit longer. Definitely ask your questions, though. If you're sitting here hanging out, just chilling, definitely ask some questions. Otherwise, I have a couple little ads for you. How about that? First off, we have memberships. I have memberships. I have a bunch of data that's available, but also scan the QR code here. You can donate just in terms of, it's called Buy Me a Coffee. You can buy me a coffee if you're thankful. However, what I suggest, because it gets you more, I suggest becoming a member. You can become a monthly member. Again, that's just one coffee per month. Or if you become a yearly member, this is 365 days. That's not just for the end of the fantasy season. So become a member for 365 days. You get access to a group chat with me, with others who are members, help you out all next season for your fantasy leagues to help you win. On top of that, you get access to a bunch of data that we already have available and more data that will become available. Great stuff like an opportunity index to see which players have the most opportunity to score fantasy points based on target share, air yards, stuff like that that we put together. There's strength of schedule data that's going to be in there for all of next year. Obviously not useful for this year at this point anymore. There's a boom bust metric to show how often a player is a boom, is a bust. Not only is this good for fantasy, it's good for season-long fantasy. This is good for best ball, obviously, if you're going to do best ball drafts. It's good for DFS as well. Help you get some good tournament plays. But on top of all of that, if you become a yearly member right now, if you become a yearly member before probably the draft, if I imagine, you get my fantasy draft kit next season completely free. And just because I want to do right by my yearly members, I can pretty much promise you that the price is going to go up at the start of next season. If you become a yearly member now, you get the fantasy draft kit free. People are going to have to pay for that next fantasy season. You will not. You will be rocking your fantasy draft with the best draft kit out there. I can promise you. Bunch of pages, bunch of stuff, bunch of data, and we continually update it. And since we're just starting this membership thing, I ask you what you want. So truthfully, it's the best draft kit for you, because if there's something you want to see and want to have available for you, just ask and I'm going to put that thing in there. So please sign up as a member. I would greatly appreciate it. And then also Underdog Fantasy. Have you ever heard of Underdog Fantasy? You can go on there, play Fantasy Pick'em, go more or less for a variety of different player props, different projections. It can be fantasy points, can be receiving yards, can be other sports as well. So shots on goal, stuff like that. But on top of that, there's drafts, there's best ball drafts, season-long drafts, daily drafts, all kinds of stuff. You get into a draft room with other live players, draft players for that night, that week, that season. The best day of the fantasy season, other than Championship Sunday, if you are a winner, is draft day. Let's be completely honest. Drafts are the most fun part. And at Underdog, you can make every day draft day. Sign up with the promo code Flurry, Flurry. You can scan the QR code to get taken to the app or to get taken to the website, Underdog Fantasy app, Underdog Fantasy website. Please use the promo code Flurry, Flurry, because if you do, you get a deposit bonus up to $1,000. And you support us. You support me. I would be very appreciative. And it gets you free money. Take that money, make more money. That's how it's done, people. Let's answer a couple more questions. And then we'll get out of here. Before I do, let's see how that game ended. 40-7. Gross day unless you started Charger players, I guess. Drake May, not very good. Ramondre Stevenson, if you started him, woof. I will say, in a league where I was pretty desperate, I sat Ramondre Stevenson, and I sat him for Hunter Henry, who is one of the only players in this game who did worse than Ramondre Stevenson. Ramondre Stevenson, 2 carries, 1 yard. Hunter Henry, 2 targets. So he had 0.1 fewer points than Ramondre Stevenson. What a fantastic day. Lad McConkey went off. Johnston had an okay day. Dobbins, 19 carries, 76 yards, and a touchdown. A catch for 7 as well. Tight end wise, Disley came back, went 2 for 21. Smart still had 2 for 23. That's interesting. But yeah, Justin Herbert was good. Haskins was actually decent. Antonio Gibson was the guy out of the backfield for New England. That's stupid. Valley Hunter, what's up? Brian Robinson or Spears, not PPR. I would go Spears now that Pollard's out. Robinson, like I think they're going to put that in the rearview mirror. Like I think I'm talking about his last week's performance, which was abysmal, obviously fumbles and all of that. I think they're going to give him every opportunity to start the day well and just, be his normal self. However, if that's still in his mind, if he has 1 fumble early in the game, like he can be put into the doghouse immediately. So I don't love that. But Spears, he kind of has to be used, and he's solid, and he's been scoring touchdowns. So I would go Spears. Sean, you had Dobbins. That's good. Are you upset? You had Dobbins and Herbert. That's fucking awesome. You just fucking scored. That's great. Herbert was great, wasn't he? 281, 3 touchdowns, 12 rushing yards. Solid day. And then Dobbins, like I said, he has 13.6, 14.6, 15.3. That's a solid day in PPR. Okay. Couple more questions here from r/fantasyfootball. Let's just scroll and just find something random. How about that? Okay. Knicks or Goff? I would go Knicks. Which 2 out of 3 of Cook, Higgins, and Irving? I would sit Higgins, I think. Yeah, I think I would say Higgins. Like, I think Bucky Irving's the obvious. He's the given. James Cook and Higgins is close. I would still go Higgins. Need 2 standard scoring receivers, Downs, Cup, Dowdle. Oh, running back. I would go the receivers, actually, which is kind of interesting in standard. Downs and Cup, though. Oh, geez. Where was that question? Tua was the starter. Richardson was his backup. Fucking A, dude. Bryce Young or Aaron Rodgers, I would go Bryce Young. That stinks. Spears over A-Chain. I'm not overreacting. I can't do it. I'm still going A-Chain. It is very close now, though. It is so much closer than I wish it was. But I'm still going A-Chain over Spears. PPR pick 3, A-Chain, Connor, Thielen, McMillan. Am I sitting Connor? That's the question. I think I'm sitting. I'm not going to do that. That's just me thinking. It's either Connor or Thielen. I'm starting McMillan. I think I'm sitting Thielen. Hoping Connor plays the full game. It is what it is. I mean, that's the scenario, right? We're just worried about Connor playing a half and then sitting like last week. That's what we're worried about. What else? Higgins or Jennings? I would go Higgins still. Don't love it. Choose one. Spears without Pollard or Cup or Connor. I would choose Probably Spears. Thielen, Ridley, Smith, or Tracy. Flex PPR. Ridley. I would go Ridley. Smith is tough. I mean, he disappears on the field anyways, but quarterback change makes that tough. Thielen's like, they should be wanting to get their younger receivers involved. And then Tracy, man. Tracy should be a 5-target guy every week out of the backfield, and he's just not. So if I'm just trusting a running back, a receiver turned running back who really doesn't see that many targets, it's so hard to get behind. Tracy could be a guy who could be awesome next year. If he gets a full off season, learning the position a little bit more, they realize they can use him as an every down role or use him at least in third downs more, receiving the ball. Like, he could be dangerous, man. He's just not used correctly yet. Okay, got London, Thielen, Evans, and McMillan plus Debo. Okay. I'm more or less set on London and Evans, debating Thielen or McMillan. He's just ruling out Debo. Is that what we're doing? Because I think I'd play Debo. I would go McMillan over Thielen. With Pollard out, who would I start? Grendo or Tracy? And would you start them over Myers at the flex? I would start Grendo. Would I start Tracy over Myers in the flex? Tracy plays the Colts. Myers plays the Saints. I think I'd still play Myers, I think. With the news of Tua being doubtful, I'd like to pivot from the Miami D. No, man. If DTR is in there, just play him. Would we go Raiders or Bills or Bucks? Bucks. If DTR is not playing, I would go Bucks. If DTR is playing, you got to play the defense against that scrub. He's terrible. Bryce Young or Love, asks Sean. I'd go Love. I'd still go Love. I mean, Vikings secondary is not good, man. They're not good. It's just their front seven's so good. So if the Packers do have, a game or just drives or just single plays where they can protect and give Love time, Love should be able to get open receivers. I put it that way because he'll get open receivers. Then the added layer is, will Love hit the throw? And that's a question mark because Love's best throw is an underthrown deep ball that draws a penalty. Outside of that, he's just not a very accurate player. But it should be decent enough in enough space where he can hit those shots as long as he has time. If he's rushed, he's going to stink. Interesting one. I love calling your own question interesting. Okay, yeah, you're typing it out. Fire away, Daniel, when you got it. Bo Nix or Baker? This is tough just because answer is Baker, I think. Baker obviously losing some receivers. That kind of stinks. Even more so than before talking, obviously. No Otten this week. No Shepard this week. Even still, I mean, matchup-wise, it's a revenge game for Baker. It's a divisional game for Baker. I'm going Baker. I appreciate you, Sean. I appreciate you. I mean, if there's interest, I would love to do this more. Just so you know, just because it seems like you're a new face in terms of these. Every Wednesday night, and I guess we're at the end of the season now, but every single Wednesday night during the season for the past couple of years, myself and then two others from Flurry Sports, Luke Reimer and Trevor Land, we come on here. We usually go through my rankings for the week and compare them to the consensus, talk about who I like more or less, and answer all of your guys' questions. So every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central, we always do that and love that. But I would love to do more weekend stuff. I'd love to do more Sunday morning stuff. A lot of the time it's just work, to be honest. The more this can get bigger, this can become the main thing. I would love for the best thing to be the main thing, and then I can hang out with y'all all day or day. Brad, thoughts on Tyreek Hill now that Tua is out? Don't love it, but you have Brenton Strange, Amari Cooper, Alan Lazard, Parker Washington on your bench. It's not like I like any of them. Amari Cooper, can we project him for anything? Would it surprise anybody if he goes 5 for 50? I don't think so. Would it surprise anybody if he has a catchless game? Definitely not. So that stinks. You're still playing Tyreek Hill if he's active, though. You have to. Alan Lazard, don't love in this matchup. I mean, the Jaguar guys, it's not a bad matchup. They should be okay. Parker Washington's been operating as that wide receiver 2, playing pretty well, actually. Brenton Strange's role a little bit more inconsistent than Parker Washington's. But you got to ride Tyreek. Got to go. Bucky or Kyron, I have a feeling they're back-to-back in my rankings. Let me check. I really think they are because that is very close. One player between them. I have Kyron Williams at 6, Bucky Irving at 8. I like them both quite a bit. Man, now you got me thinking I might want to flip them. How many carries for Bucky? I would go Kyron Williams. I would still go Kyron Williams. Dank, 4-point passing touchdown league for Superflex, Mooney, Flacco, Penix. Man, okay, it's between the two quarterbacks. I like Mooney, but I'm going to go with one of the quarterbacks still. I like both quarterbacks. I love Michael Penix, and it breaks my heart that his receiver sabotaged his first NFL start. Drake London dropping a big one. Kyle Pitts actively handing the ball on the goal line to the defense. Like, he should have had no interceptions, 2 touchdowns. Should have been a great fantasy day. I feel like that game's a shootout, man. Falcons commies. I feel like that game could turn into a shootout. That's why it's so tough. I think Flacco's safer for sure. Flacco against the Giants is safer. The only risk with Flacco, in my opinion, is that the Colts get up big. They can control everything and just run the ball a shit ton, and Flacco doesn't have to do much. That's my only worry there. I'm still here. I forgot my face is covered. Fuck it. Give me Penix. The dude's a stud. He can spin it. He's going to rip it. He's going to be great. Doing it for week 18. We can do, I think we plan to do something for sure for week 18. For sure on Wednesday night, we'll be live doing stuff for week 18. Just because I think we're going to be there sort of available for questions. If I can put my face up, I think we'll be available for questions for the people who do play in week 18 leagues. There just seems to be such a small number, but I think we will do something. And then maybe if we are not answering questions actively, if there aren't questions to answer, maybe we'll just shoot the shit. Maybe we'll give out like fantasy awards or something, talk about people who were surprises, stuff like that. Or maybe we'll just talk about DFS or underdog fantasy picks we like. We'll do something though. 7 p.m. Central Wednesday, we will be live right here. Fantasy Flurry Twitter, Flurry Sports YouTube channel, Flurry Sports Facebook, Flurry Sports Twitch. Everywhere. And you are welcome, Brad. Any final questions? Get them in now before this next game starts. Next game starts in 3 minutes, right? Yeah. Yes. Yes. Let me look quickly just in case there's a random player ruled out that's going to completely sabotage my rankings. Just in case I need to make something flip really quick. Does Rappaport have anybody? Saints elevated Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So he's going to play, obviously not today. Ruled out Olave, put some interior lineman on the IR. Vikings activated Ivan Pace. Commies activated Jonathan Allen. He's a stud. What a good player. T. Higgins officially active. That's fantastic. That scared me a little bit, the way that tweet was structured. Eagles roster moves. They sign Ian Book to the active roster. Yikes. Brian Huff. Tyron Davis-Price. Interesting. What a weird, interesting. Jim Harbaugh collects a $1 million playoff bonus in his contract because they clinched the playoffs. Good for him. He needs it. So if the Broncos, this is important, I guess, for week 18. If the Broncos win, and it's important for tomorrow. I mean, shit. If the Broncos win, the Bengals, Colts, and Dolphins will all be eliminated from the playoffs. Obviously, Bengals play the Broncos, but Colts and Dolphins would have even less to play for tomorrow. So if the Broncos win, does Tyreek Hill sit? You know what I mean? That's something to watch. So maybe we are, for fantasy purposes, we are rooting for the Bengals tonight. Possibly. That's all I got for now, though. We put together almost an hour on here. Again, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central. We are live every Wednesday night, even after the fantasy season, I should say this. We always do the ranking show, ranking fantasy football players, Wednesday nights during the season. After the season, the rankings do not end, people. The ranking show is a podcast we put together to rank anything and everything from best pizza toppings, best Midwestern states, best NFL draft hats we did last year. Maybe it's NBA. No, it was NFL draft hats. We will rank anything and everything. Please give your suggestions for things you want us to rank. But if you like just listening to us talk, if you like hanging out with us, chiming in the chat, and if you want to join in on the rankings, definitely come hang out and suggest things you want us to rank. I think that will be a very fun show. And the non-sports topics, I feel like those get a little more hostile. Because if we all remember, a lot of new people here today. Trevor, he was gobsmacked when I said I like cream cheese on a bagel. He acted like he never knew that was a combination that existed. There's cream cheese on a bagel's package and vice versa. He had no clue it even existed. That's what we're working with, okay? That's what we're working with the minds at play for this show. And I'm not going to bite my tongue. If someone says something dumb, they get called out. You know what I mean? So definitely come and join it. It is a fun one. Curious if Davante Adams is going to be active tomorrow and not pull a Chuba morning of. I agree. I think he's going to be active, though. I think there's things, he has accelerators in his contract that he could use another touchdown or two. Aaron Rodgers is going for his 500th career touchdown tomorrow, which he will throw, obviously. And it feels like why wouldn't Davante Adams be the one to catch that? You know? So I think Davante is going to be active for that. We shall see. We shall see. But yeah, we will be back soon for sure Wednesday. If you have any other questions, definitely ask them on Twitter. A lot of you are on Twitter right now at FantasyFlurry. If you're on YouTube, comment them under the video. And check out flurrysports.org. I will update my rankings probably later tonight again. For sure, tomorrow morning, there will be another update. So definitely go and check those out. See you then. Goodbye.